Hello, everyone. As you know, we're starting our Masses this weekend. And as starting the Masses, there's some guidelines and rules that we all need to follow. It's going to be a little bit crazy. It's going to be, hit or miss, trial and error. So you're going to have to be patient with us as we try to figure all these things out. Okay? So here we go. Some of the guidelines. How is this all going to work? How is this all going to happen? Well, first and foremost, the doors are not going to open up until 4:15. Okay, so for 4:30 Mass, the doors will not open till 4:15. For 9 o'clock Mass, the doors will not open until 8:45, 15 minutes before the Mass will actually start. Okay, so if you come here at 3:30 or 8 o'clock, plan on sitting in your cars for a while because that's how it's going to be. Okay, because we got to get everything settled and situated in the church and make sure that everybody's in place to ready to help you get into place. Okay? So once we open the doors, there'll be ushers to take you to your seats. Okay? So there'll be an usher. It'll be like going to the theater or the stadium. We got 2 over here. Come on, two here. We got 1 over here. And it's going to be first come, first serve sort of thing. So you're not going to be able to run in and pick your seat. So don't plan on that. The usher will say, we have a seat here. Please take this seat. It is going to be a challenge because the way with social distancing is our church holds 900 people. We're allowed 50% capacity. So 900 people, 450, 50% capacity. Oh, that's good. We should get everybody in. No. Once you do social distancing, having everybody sit properly, it brings us down to 162 seats. That's all we can get in. Okay? 162 people. So we need to do this as orderly and as, the best we can. Okay? And so that's why you don't get to pick your seats out. It's going to be row by row so that we can make sure that everybody's in their proper seat at the proper time kind of thing. Okay? We are not letting households sit together this time. Okay? We got to figure out how to do this first before we can say, okay, you guys can sit together or you can sit together. We're not going to do that this time. So be aware of that. All that's going to make it into the church is 162 people. That's it. We've got to figure this out before I can allow somebody to say, oh, here, because we all know it's going to happen. Oh, yeah, that's my sister. I can sit with her. That's no problem. Or, this is my neighbor. I'm in her house all the time. It's no problem. I can sit with her. No, you can't. The rules, the guidelines say, no, you can't. Only households. And so until we can figure out how this is all going to get you seated, we can't be messing around with who's in what house and all that kind of stuff. So we're not doing that this weekend. Hopefully, if this works out smooth, if everybody helps out and does it smooth, then we'll be able to get everybody to sit down in households. Remember, households, not neighbors, not families. Oh, this is my sister. She lives 3 blocks away from me. Doesn't matter. It's households. And so we're not going to mess with that today. We got to figure out everything else before we can start messing with that one. Okay? So just know that. Everybody, husbands, wives, you're all going to be sitting 6 feet apart from everybody. It is what it is, okay? So once we get everybody seated, there's a couple things as you come in. We will have hand sanitizer for you. So if you want, you should, and you must, clean your hands. Use a little bit of hand sanitizer on your hands. If you have your own, perfect, great, use it. We'll have some here. You must wear a mask. As soon as you enter into, well, I would say as soon as you get out of your car, you should have your mask on. But once you're in the church, you must have a mask. And that doesn't mean when you sit down in your pew, you can take it off. You leave the mask on until communion time. And then you put the communion in your mouth and you put the mask back up. Okay? So you must wear a mask. If you have a mask at home, bring it. I ordered 500 masks and we have not got them yet. I ordered them a couple weeks ago. They said they were on their way. But we did start getting our mail again. They found our mail and they delivered it for us, and we are getting our mail. But for some reason, these masks have not come. So know that if you have your own mask, please bring it. We will have a couple of masks here. We do have some masks, but we don't have enough for 162 people. So please bring your mask. If you do not have a mask and we run out of masks, you won't be able to come in. It's that black and white, everybody. It's that black and white. So sanitize your hands when you come in. Make sure you have your mask on, and go wherever the usher seats you at. Okay? Once you're seated, remain seated. Don't get up and walk around to visit anybody. Oh, I have a mask on. I could go talk to them. No. That's not what this is about. This is about coming to church. This isn't about talking and walking around. There are no candles to be lit. Don't think, well, I'm just going up, Father, to light a candle. No. You don't light candles. You do what we've been doing. If you want a candle lit, give us your intention, put it in the basket, and we'll light it for you. But we will not be lighting candles. Okay? In fact, I even caution them off so you can't go back there. There's no candles to be lit. So you know that. Sit in your seat and pray. That's what we're supposed to be doing anyways, is praying. So come in, prepare your heart. Prepare yourself to enter into the liturgy. Once liturgy starts, know that there'll be no singing. We were told when we talk, the force of air goes about 6 feet. When we sing, it goes about 14 feet. So it's been handed down to us in guidelines and procedures that there'll be no singing. So the opening song, the communion song, and the processional and recessional songs will be all instrumental. The Gloria and all the acclamations will be recited. So there'll be absolutely no singing. It'll be more like a daily mass than it would be a weekend mass kind of thing. Okay? So don't come in here planning to sing, because that's not going to happen. Okay? And that's not Alex's rule. That was, again, handed down to us from the diocese. When it comes to communion time, again, there'll be no offertory, so don't expect that. Your offertory collection will be a basket on a table in the back of the church. Just throw as you leave, or when you come in, either or, you'll just throw your envelope in there. The ushers will not come with a basket and give it with like they normally do with their ones on handles and stuff. It's just going to be a basket in the back, and you just toss it in there. And if you want a candle intention, throw it in there. We'll get it, and we'll get your candles lit. Okay? And again, when it comes to communion, you will not be coming up to communion. Those of you who've been here for an anointing mass, you know how I come down and the deacon would come down and give you guys communion? That's how it's going to be. The Eucharist minister or myself will come to you. That's why every other pew is empty. The pews with bows on it, nobody should be sitting in. Okay? And that's one, for social distancing, and two, for us, when we come to bring you communion, we'll come to you. When we get to your roll, you stand up if you wish to receive. If you don't want to receive, that's fine. Just remain seated. No big deal. We'll just go to those who stand up to receive communion. Okay? That's how communion will work. You won't have to get out of your seat at all. That'll keep the social distancing. We won't have to worry about somebody coming up behind you while you're in line. You know, sometimes people forget that there's tape on the floor and we have to stop and we have to do this. This will be just a little bit easier for everybody involved. Okay? There will be no taking of communion on the tongue. If you wish to receive communion, it must be in your hand, and don't be surprised if it's dropped into your hand. Not like from here down, but it will be probably dropped into your hand. Okay? So be prepared for that. It's not disrespectful. It's so that we're not touching your hands. Okay? So the host will be from maybe an inch or two above your hand, dropped into it. And then you receive communion as you normally would. Then you put your mask back up. Okay? And then you sit. We're going to sit down, row by row. And then you don't have to stand until the last person receives as if it was a procession. At this point, everybody will just sit down once you receive. Okay? Then once communion is over with, we'll do the final prayers, and after that, then we will dismiss. How will that take place? It's going to be in an orderly form. The ushers will come and escort you out. You may go, you may go, you may go, you may go. So be patient. Nobody is to leave their pew early until the usher tells you to leave. And nobody leaves Mass early. To leave Mass early, you're going to disrupt everything. And so we have to keep the social distance. So if you're one of those people who's got to leave after communion, you might want to consider not coming. Okay? We're not ready for anybody not following the rules. Once everybody's out, we are going to ask for some volunteers who are healthy and able to help us clean the pews afterwards. Yesterday we had a funeral, and we had to do the two main sections of the church. It took us about 45 minutes with 3 people to do those 2 sections. So if we have people that are willing to help, we'll have gloves, we'll use and rags, and we'll use Lysol to just wipe the pews down. It's our hope. We're looking into getting the pews sprayed and everything sprayed that has a disinfectant that lasts up to 28 days. We're looking into that, trying to get that scheduled to come and have them do. But until then, we're going to have to clean the pews down. So if there are people who are coming and would like to help us, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay? Knowing that we're going to be socially distanced apart, and I said that, one of the exceptions will be anybody who has a child who is 6 or 7 years or younger. Obviously, that child can stand next to its parent, his or her parent. Okay? So that is the only exception, because they need to be by their parent. So other than that, any child older than 7 can, they don't need to be by their parent. They can stand at the blue spot. Okay? So that's how the Mass is going to look. Okay? Now remember, you do not need to feel obligated to come back to church. If you are compromised, your immune system is compromised in any way, if you are past the age that they say, 60 or older, and you're just not ready to come back, that's okay. If you don't want to follow the rules, don't come. If you say, I hate wearing a mask and I'm not going to wear it, great, don't wear it, but don't come here, because we're not going to let you in. You got to wear a mask. Okay? It's all these procedures. I know they sound stupid. Maybe they are. But isn't it better to err on the side of caution than not? Well, Father, they say you can't get it from touching things. Yeah, they say that, and then, we all know how it works. Maybe 3 months later, they're going to say, oh, no, that is how you get it. So let's err on the side of caution. So let's clean things up. That's why there's no missalettes. That's why there's no hymnals. There's no cards in the pews anymore. The pews are absolutely empty. Now, what about that, Father? Well, if you want to bring your own hymnal, not hymnal, but missalette, you're more than welcome to. Your own prayer books, absolutely. If you want to use your cell phone, because there's so many apps with the Mass on it, there's so many apps with different prayers on it, that you want to use it, absolutely. Now, don't use it to check emails and text messages during Mass. That would be inappropriate. But a lot of people, and sometimes, this is how we judge, and we shouldn't. People who put the readings, there's apps with the Mass readings. So instead of using a missalette, you may see somebody holding their phone during Mass, and you're thinking, look at that, they're checking text messages. Well, no, they may actually be reading the readings along with the lector. Okay? So don't judge anybody if you see somebody pulling their phone out, because there are apps out there that you can use for Mass. So maybe they're doing that. Okay? So do that. Nobody's going to judge you. But make sure if you are using your phone that you turn the ringer and everything off. Silence your phones and stuff so that it's not a disruption to anybody else. Okay? So those are the things that are happening for this time. Again, we're not sure how this is all going to play out. If everything goes smoothly, maybe the following week we can get back to the 11 o'clock Mass. The reason we're not doing it is because we got to figure out, can we get the church cleaned in time for the 11 o'clock Mass? I'm going to say, I don't know. That's why we're not doing it. So I'll still do the Mass intention, but I'll do it privately after everybody leaves. And that's what's been happening. All Mass intentions have been said over these last few weeks, months, but I've been saying them privately. So all Masses have been said. So it's for a loved one of yours, please know that your Mass intention was said. Okay? That's how this is going to go. Again, know that the obligation of Mass has been dispensed for 1 year till next Easter. Now, that's not an excuse not to go. But if you're not ready to go, I understand that. And it's okay not to come. I was saying at Mass this morning, on Thursday, my sisters and father and I went and got my mom's headstone. And the woman who was helping us, she's Catholic, and she was saying, Father, my husband's compromised, and to be honest with you, I'm just not ready to go. So she goes, I think I'm going to wait it out a little bit. I said, absolutely. And I think we're going to find more people that are just not quite ready to come back yet. And that's okay. I want you to know that that's okay. God wants you to come when you're ready. And yeah, like I said, we got kinks to work out. So until we get those kinks worked out, you might not want to come. And like I said, we only have 162 spots. And so there are some people who've been dying to get back to church. If that's the case, and you're not so sure, do you want to take their spot? It's okay. And I don't want to be the one who's at 163. Let's be honest. Because once that happens, there's no standing room for Mass. You either sit down or you stay home. Okay? We have to follow the rules. So that's what's happening. Things will be kind of hopefully figured out, and we'll be more able to run things a little bit more smoothly. But until now, we think we got it pretty well figured out so that everybody will be safe. That's my main concern. We got to keep everybody safe. And so, by the grace of God, we're starting to open things up. It's going to be slow, it's going to be bumpy, it's going to be confusing, and it probably even be a bit frustrating. But at least we're making some progress. And so all I ask is be patient. Okay? Thanks, and know that you're all in my prayers, and the peace of the Lord be with you always. God bless.